Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how remembering the past creates your future. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of you who said, Tom, I'm new to your channel, and here's my question, that I'm able to get into the state of wish fulfilled and feel it as real. But then as I go along my day or week, I think of something that happened between me and my SP in the past. And then then I'm out of the state of wish fulfilled and I'm feeling like I always have between us. And I was wondering if you could talk about that. How do I instantly get back to my state of fulfillment? How do I return to it? Well, guys, we're going to talk about this today and more. Well, we're going to talk about a few techniques today. One of them is a real powerful one by Neville Goddard, and we're not going to talk specifically about revision today, revising the past, but we're going to talk about other ways to get at this. But here's really what I want to say, and this is big, that you're looking at fulfillment as a sensation that you need to hold on to or that you need to reach in some future, right? That's what the way you're looking at fulfillment. You're looking at it as something that you got to hold on to, and then the actual fulfillment will happen someday in the future. Do you hear this? You're always standing in the now moment while thinking of your unfulfilled past and imagining fulfillment in the future. And so you can, it's like happiness. If you rely on the fleeting feeling, the fleeting sensation, and try to grasp at that and try to hold on to it, you can never hold on to it, right? You can never be happy if you're relying on the temporary fleeting feeling or sensation of happiness. You can never be fulfilled, hear this, if you're relying on the temporary fleeting sensation of fulfillment. You've got to reach underneath that layer of fulfillment that never changes, of who you really are, right? Here you are, you think you're in the now moment, right? Imagining your wish fulfilled, but you're really in the past, thinking that fulfillment is sometime in the future, and that if I hold this feeling, this fleeting sensation, then I'll see my wish fulfilled, right? Instead, fulfillment is an integration. It's a wholeness. It's who you are. It encompasses all time. The only thing that keeps us back from feeling that state of fulfillment as a permanent, loving state of who we are is a belief in linear time, because we believe it's in the future. Just like happiness, just like success, just like everything we want. We believe it's all in the future when really all of that is now. Here you are, that infinite, multidimensional being encompassing all time. It's not linear, right? The time, there's only the now moment, and all realities emanate and stream from the now moment. Hear this, right? You're always standing in that unfulfilled moment, right? But you're not. You're in the now moment, but you don't see it. Your now moment or your present state is really the past. Hear this, right? So you try to hold on to a sensation of fulfillment versus feeling your innate unchanging state of fulfillment, right? You are fulfilled by definition, by your God-given right. That's how you were born. That's who you are. That's your soul. But you're trying to hold on to some sensation. It's just like trying to find that fleeting happiness, or trying to be in love all the time when you are love. You don't have to be in love. You are love. Right? You don't fall out of love, you are love. It's impossible to fall out of love. You are love, right? Fulfillment cannot be lost, it can only be forgotten. Hear this, it's never lost. You're not losing the feeling of fulfillment, you're forgetting it. You're forgetting that's who you really are, right? Fulfillment cannot be grasped, it can only be remembered. Hear this. You're grasping for it, but it can't be grasped. It can only be remembered. So it can't be lost. It can only be forgotten. It can't be grasped. It can only be remembered, right? It's beyond time and space. How, though? So how do we do it? By letting go of your fixation of linear time, loosening your grip on linear time, allowing that infinite multidimensional you to shine. So here today, guys, I want to cover a few methods, a method by Neville Goddard, and then another way to really get this idea that you are fulfilled always in every moment, right? So let's cover this. So Neville talks about I remember when. Very powerful technique. Why is this technique so powerful? If you're feeling like if you have no money and you're feeling poor, or you're feeling like you don't know how you're going to pay your bills or where the next dollar is going to come from, you can get into a moment of instant fulfillment, meaning you can reach that, you can remember who you really are, that instant state, that it instantly return to a fulfillment or your innate state of fulfillment by saying, I remember when I didn't have any money. I remember when I was struggling to pay my bills. I remember when. Why? What's so powerful about that? The power, as in all techniques, not just the techniques of Neville Goddard, but any reality creation technique, the power is in the implication. I don't care if it's a meditation, an affirmation, scripting, imagine your wish fulfilled. It's all in the power of implication. When you say this, you feel it real instantly. Why? Because it implies that you're no longer have no money. You no longer are struggling. You're no longer struggling to pay bills. You are wealthy. You do have money. That's what it implies. The power is always in the implication, not in the technique. Why? Because you're creating a memory of when you had nothing. And memory is imagination. That's all memory is. There is images. But again, you're now looking at that image. When you say, I remember when, you're not looking at it from a state of lack, a state of grief, a state of struggling, a state of frustration. You're looking at it through the happy, powerful, fulfilled state of who you really are, through fulfillment. When you look through the eyes of fulfillment, everything changes. Not just the future, not just the present, but the past. You change all time. You change the mosaic completely. This is big, right? It's in the implication. The implication is that whatever you remember, it's now a memory. I remember when. Whatever you now remember, it's now a memory. And now that must mean you now are in that state of fulfillment. How instantly? You instantly move there. Again, fulfillment's more than a sensation. So when you do this, when you use this technique, you're really remembering who you really are. You're really remembering that you're that multidimensional soul that is always fulfilled. So you're going beyond just grasping for the sensation. You're going for the state of being that's permanent and unchanging. It's eternal. You're fulfilled eternally and whole. And in eternity, you're always creating new realities and you're always experiencing a part of your complete evolution. That's big. That implies that you're no longer that reality no longer exists. When you say, I remember when me and my SP had these silly little fights, right? And now look at us together. That means that it no longer exists, that those states where you were fighting and that you weren't together. Do you hear the power in this? Right? And it's beyond. I want to really say that it does return you instantly to feeling it real. But feeling it real is your natural God-given state. Fulfillment is your natural God-given state. You're not returning to just a temporary sensation, just like grasping for happiness. Let's unpack this a little bit more. Having nothing. This is what Neville says. Having nothing, you can become aware of being surrounded by wealth and feeling wealthy. You can say, I remember when I had nothing. So powerful, right? It implies you create a memory. It creates that is a memory now, and that you are. And because of there's a lot of power in that, because we believe in the past, right? It's from that linear orientation that when you say, I remember when, that you create that past memory, which means you are now in the future. You've made the future now. You're now in that fulfilled future, right? Does that and this is what Neville says, does that statement not imply that the state of poverty no longer exists for you? It no longer exists. In fact, it never existed, but it no longer exists now, especially when you use that technique. It immediately gets you back to that fulfillment. You're remembering fulfillment. Remember, you're not feeling it again, you're remembering it again. And that remembrance is a feeling. But it's not a fleeting feeling. It's a deep emotional state of who you really are. Right? And then he says, fill in the events, the desires, and the fulfillment. Right? Fill it in. And now I have money and wealth coming to me from every direction. Or I have everything I could ever dreamed of. Or me and my SB are now happy together, and we laugh about those little fights. Wow, that's powerful. Let's unpack this a little bit more. Neville says, persist in the feeling, it's fulfillment for you. It says, persist in feeling, it's fulfillment. For if you do, feeling will become believing. I love this. Right? Now remember, fulfillment is who you are. So when you persist in it, you're remembering that fulfillment. As you remember that, you believe it because it is your truth. And you believe what's true. That's how to move into your desired state. Right here you are. I remember when, where you have everything. You create that memory, which implies that it no longer exists. Simply stand, here's what Neville says, on your belief, new belief, and say to yourself, I remember when. See what you want to see in your mind's eye in place of what you would see on the outside. Hear this. This is the technique that Neville all of his techniques have a common thread. Seeing what you want to see as if it's true because it is true. Right? It's all in your imagination. I love this. Stand on your new belief. Stand on it. Stand in it. Be it. Right? Let's unpack this a little bit more. Remember when, or I remember when, is powerful. It moves you to the feeling of fulfillment immediately. But remember, it moves you there because you're remembering it. You're remembering that feeling of fulfillment. That's who you really are. You're not going after a fleeting sensation now that you're going to lose when you come out of your state akin to sleep, or when you start mixing it up with coworkers or friends in the 3D world. Right? Or you go shopping and something happens. You can't lose that once you remember it. You can't lose what you believe, what you think is true. You can't lose truth. Right? Why? Because of your belief, and here's why it works, this remember when, why it's so powerful. Because of your belief in 3D reality that the past is more real or solid than the future. Because we believe that, although we're going to loosen that today in a few minutes, and I'm going to point to this. But because you believe in that, because you believe it's more solid than the future, when you create a memory, you believe it. That it's your past. You believe you can perceive the past because of the perceived history of events. Right? You perceive those as history. But I'm here to tell you, just as easily, and this is big, this is so big, and this is going to lead us into the next thing I want to talk about, right? That's like revision, only it's like revision 2.0, or it's like next level Neville that I've talked about before in another video. This is big. You can just as easily remember the future or perceived history of a future right now. Hear this. Because all events are happening right now, and are happening, have happened, and will happen, that there is no linear time. That as opposed to a river, that you feel like you're in a river in a little boat going from past to present to future, you're really in a lake and you're standing in the middle of it, right? And you're creating it all in the present moment, right? So that those future events can easily be remembered as well. You're remembering everything. You're remembering you're a multidimensional being. So you're not just remembering the past, you're remembering your future. You're remembering it all. That's big. Let's hit this a little bit more. So I've put this up before, but it really hits this point today that future and past events are both created in the present moment. Future, it's this belief that we think we go from the past, that the past causes the present and the present causes the future. When in fact, the present, the real present, the eternal present, the present moment creates both past and future. It creates all time, and it's all created now. We stand in the present thinking that we're present or we're in the now when we're really always in the past. Right? And we're always holding on to looking at 3D reality. Whenever you're staring at 3D reality, you're in the past, right? These ripples of past, present, and future events are constantly be created. You're sending these ripples out through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, right? Right from the now moment, you're literally creating new realities, new ripples of events that include past and future events. Right from that moment and now, you're creating new realities constantly in the now moment. There is no linear evolution, hear this, of some past to the present leading to the future. There's no linear evolution, and there's no linear evolution of being fulfilled, going from non-fulfillment to fulfillment. You're already fulfilled. It's you experiencing a part of that evolution. You choose to experience whatever part of fulfillment that you want to experience now, right? You are multidimensionally fully evolved being that is in 3D to call forth and experience any part of the evolution that you desire. So powerful. It's a lake, and it's all happening right now, right? If you were looking from above, you would see all these events happening at once, simultaneously, right now, right? So let's unpack this a little bit more. I remember when, Neville's technique, makes the future now and the elsewhere here. Like all of his techniques, you're getting to that what you consider a future state of fulfillment, which really is happening right now. But when you do that, when you remember when, right? When you remember when that you had those arguments, you're putting that in the past. And you're moving yourself to that future. But it's all happening right now through that portal of now, through that portal of internal presence. You shift to your desired reality and new lifeline where the past is looked at fondly. So here's the brilliant thing about I remember when. And in fact, it revises the past. Why? Well, you're saying, well, Tom, but I'm in the present moment feeling unfulfilled, saying that I remember when I was with my SP. No, you're always in the past. Right? You're always in the past unless you're lighting up and illuminating that future desired reality. Do you hear this? You're always behind in the past, right? The past and future are being created right now through your. So I wanted to say, as you do that, as you say, I remember when. Now you're looking through that past, what you consider the past event, which you think is your present situation, but it's really the past. Hear that? What you consider your present situation is the past. And you're saying, I remember when I had no money. I remember when I had an argument or I wasn't with my SP. You're making that now a past event which moves you immediately to your wish fulfilled in the future. And now you're looking at it through the eyes of fulfillment. You're looking at it through the eyes of your dimensionally larger you. And everything changes when you do that. You change the past, present, and future completely, right? The past and future are being created right now through your current focus of thoughts and emotions, beliefs and assumptions. As you throw a pebble into that lake of infinity, as you sit in the middle of now, and you create these new ripples of past and future events. They're all being created right now. I remember when I was single, thinking of a time when I'd be married to my SP. I was so excited, and now here we are. Do you hear it? You're creating that past event as a past event, which implies then that you're in your future wish fulfilled immediately. Wow, that's powerful. So let's unpack this a little bit more. So I want to talk about this because now is the point from which all realities stream. As you're in that lake of infinity, right? And we've talked about revision, where you can revise, where Neville talks about revising past events as you would like them. But I'm not talking about only seeing the past differently. I'm talking about the next level, Neville, of creating a new, entirely new past event. Because when you create a new past, you create a new future and you create a new present. You become a different version of yourself. Hear this, and you enter a new reality. That's big, right? You not only change, the now is the point from which all this starts. So you not only change your future, but it is with your current focus that you're creating the version of the past that you believe without a doubt is the past. So as you beyond remember when, you can decide who you want to be, what version you want to occupy, what reality you want to occupy with your current focus, and then that past now changes. And now it could be a past where you never fought, where you are always together. And now you're happily in the present just remembering those memories. Do you see it? This is another way to do it, right? That's how powerful you are. It's completely loosening the illusion of linear time, right? With your current focus, you're creating the version of the past that you believe without a doubt is the past, right? When you create a new version of the past, you believe that's the past. That if there's a new past, that means there's a new present and there's a new future. When you are remembering something from the past, you are creating it right now as evidence of who you are. This is big. So if you're stuck on something that is unwanted or that has been gnawing at you and you keep thinking about that, remember, as you think about that, you're pulling it forward as evidence of who you are right now. But as you create a new past, as you remember it differently, remember that quote from Solaris, the movie, when at the end of the movie, when she says, we don't have to think like that anymore. Well, you don't have to remember it like that anymore. You can remember an entirely different situation, because when you do, you create a new memory. And what's a memory? It's just an image. It's imagination. Just like a future image. And you're creating it all in that now moment. So you create a new memory, a new past. That means that implies you're a new version of yourself that has a new present and a new future. Everything changes, right? That's why I remember when is so powerful. It puts you immediately into your desired future state, right? Remember, when you're remembering something from the past, you're creating it right now as evidence of who you are. Wow. That's so powerful. So the cause of all realities is in the present moment and is not caused by the past. Right? We get stuck sometimes thinking about things that happened in the past. And we create limiting beliefs around that, thinking we can't move or we have to dig something up to fix it. We have to fix ourselves. We got to fix our past. We got to apologize. We've got to prove. We've got to show that we're no longer that person. When really, guys, it's all created in the now moment. What you think, feel, and believe right now. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to prove. There's nothing to do. You don't have to go back and start doing construction on the past, right? That's why perpetuating limiting beliefs from perceived unwanted past events, it makes no sense, because you create them all right now. The only reason you keep thinking that unwanted event is something from the past is because you keep, hear this, is because you keep recreating it in the present moment. Wow. That's why that unwanted past disappears as soon as you stop putting your attention on it, because it's no longer the past when you say it is. When you say it's no longer the past, it's no longer the past, right? Beyond I remember when, that's what I call revision 2.0 or next level Neville. You can change an unwanted event by recalling it, remembering it, how you wanted it to be to play out. Or you can do that, that's revision, right? But you can remember it as an entirely new event. So I'm not just saying that you're remembering it differently and that past stays the same. I'm saying that when you remember it differently, you create a different past event. You create a different past, which creates a different present and which creates a different future. Wow, that's big. That's how recalling the past creates your future. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Caron. You can visit our website at tomcaron.com or besomethingwonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@besomethingwonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, with great love and great light, this is Tom. See you soon.